Hi, it's Bernie Slane here. Thanks for joining me on YouTube and Facebook Live. And thanks as always to the sponsors, Galaxy Blinds, Cornerstone Business Solutions, Cleveland Systems and Engineering, Borough Museum, Advanced Utility Solutions, RWTA, Richard World Trading Associates and TGM Cars. Well, last night we faced Coventry in the second leg. The winner would meet Luton in the final. Obviously Luton the night before beat Sunderland. I watched that game and I went on record as saying it was men against boys. Sunderland were bullied out the game. A lot of young lads involved with the Sunderland team. Played very well to stay in my light, but Luton just overran them, put the boot in, upset the rhythm and didn't allow them to play and put them to bed and put them out. But last night, the team, I'm sure you know the team, but I'll read the team again. It was Stefan, Giles, Lenihan, McNair. There was Smith, McGree, Mott, Hackney, Foz, Akpom and Archer. And on the bench was Jones, Fry, Belazer, Dick Steele, Crooks and Bowler. It was always going to be difficult. And for me, the biggest difficulty I was predicting beforehand. I mean, I had people come up to me saying we're going to win 3-0 before the game. And I'm thinking, I can't see it. You know, in the last few games, we've been misfiring. We've not been scoring as regular. Coventry, we hadn't beat on 3 occasions. With the 3 centre-backs, the only way we were going to succeed last night was to get Giles bombing forward, which he did on occasions and did get in some quality balls, and then he overhit a lot of balls. McGree never got a lot of service, and we had to get the back 3 turned. And on the right, Smith never really get going, Foz never really get going, then we replaced him. Jones came off the bench, never really get going. Dick Steele, and we huffed and puffed, and if we're honest, on the night, they were a better outfit. They were well drilled, they were disciplined. I mean, that guy said they're boring, they're defensive. Middlesbrough, in the last 10 years before Carrick's come in, we've been boring and negative in 3 centre-backs and try to smother opposition. So we got a bit of our own medicine last night. And it was horrible. I mean, I got up this morning, I don't drink alcohol. I had a Borough hangover. I woke up and I think, dear God, you know what I mean? I spoke to my son, he's abroad at the minute, and he's a massive Borough fan. He's gutted, I'm gutted. Last night, after the game, didn't really know what to say. I'm never really lost for words, but it was a majorly disappointing for everybody. You know, I was looking at the town, everybody benefits, the town, the shopkeepers, the club, the chairman. We get better players in next year, we'll get more money to spend. But the team didn't function. Defensively, Jokerez, is that how you pronounce his name? The big 17. First game we played us here, it was very good. Then in Sunday, big Paddy McNair was brilliant, had him in his pocket. And then last night, he came to life in the second half. But the one thing I will say, the goal was majorly disappointing. Cast your mind, but I watched it over and over today just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. We've got it left side. You've got Giles get the ball. He played just in the halfway line. He's played it into Hackney. Hackney slipped. It's a bad ball. It's behind him. He slipped. He's off balance. He fell. The balls get played over the 2 centre backs who are out of position. Giles, to be fair, is running to cover. Stefan, who I've always said he'll cost us. He plays his part. He comes out. Is he any need to run from the line? I don't think he has, because Giles is covering and then McNair has recovered to come back. It ends up, when he comes out, he's in he's just out on the edge, outside the 18-yard box. And he comes out, hands up aloft. He has to wipe the opposition player out and take his medicine or get it. And he does neither. And when Jokerez plays it to his left, the lads took it off him, his teammate, cut inside, and we had 8 players in the box. 8 players in the box. We had 3 behind the goalkeeper, 4 behind the goalkeeper, and it still went in. I couldn't believe what I seen. I couldn't believe the goal, the mess, and how it happened. Just majorly disappointing. We've been fantastic all season. Since Carrick's come in, we've been exciting, entertaining, free-flowing football, goals galore. So what's went wrong in the crucial part of the season? Well, since Huddersfield beat us under Warnock, then we did recover with a great result against was at Norwich, and then we had another great result at Hull City. And then since then, 2 wins in the last 10. People are saying momentum doesn't matter. Of course it matters. Tails up, scoring goals. We've been scoring goals for fun. And one of the biggest mistakes, and there's not a lot of mistakes this season, was dropping Chuba Akpom. Chuba Akpom was rested, dropped against Luton along with another 4 players. I get it, there was injuries, but we weren't protecting Chuba because he could have got injured the next 2 games he played. If you were going to leave him out in fear of getting injury, you'd have left him out until last night. But he played other games. And he never scored in the last 3-4 games. And the boy was scoring goals for fun. I didn't understand that. As a former centre-forward with a centre-forward mentality, an attack mentality, goals, Chuba, the richest vein of form in his career, 27 going on 28, been absolutely brilliant, won all the accolades, and he didn't look the same player. Don't get me wrong, playing against 3 is difficult. I've been there. Don't forget, Archer's 5'0". He's playing against 3 big 6'4" hairy-ass centre-backs. Chuba's fairly deep. He tried to push on a wee bit last night, but as I say, the only way to get them turned was to get it to the full-backs and wide positions, and we didn't do it. We didn't achieve it, didn't put enough quality in, and our chances were limited, and I was gutted. Everybody was gutted, and look, I've been there. As a player, I've been via the playoffs and got promotion. I've been via the second leg semi-final and been dumped out with Notts County. I've been it, I've experienced it. But watching for the stand last night, when Crooksy came off the bench and scored, I was up there like a kid. Brilliant. Where I'm sitting, you can't see any flags, or, well, you're concentrating in the play, and he's just come off the bench, he scored. Everybody's up. Obviously, it was offside. There was 2 of them offside, but majorly disappointing. Well, Bernie, I'm sure you're pretty much like the rest of us Borough fans, absolutely gutted. People say it's just a game. This is for Andrew Smith. And it's a long one, so he's took time, so I'm going to read it. It's just a game, but I've supported this club for 40 years, and it's in our blood. Such a massive shame we didn't turn up last night. We huffed and puffed, but we lacked any width of penetration up front. Well, I've said that before, I've read it, but we had no momentum going into playoffs, says that, and that has ultimately cost us. We went downhill ever since international break. Carrick has worked wonders at the club ever since he came through the door, but I have to say, I think the downfall is having no plan B. My son mentioned that this morning. There's going to be lots of changes in the summer with all the loan signings returning to the clubs. I've said that for months. I'm not optimistic in getting the likes of Giles, Archer, etc. back. What do you think? I personally don't think we'll get them. Do you think we can keep hold of Akpom? I personally think we're a selling club, and if we can get 15-20 million for a guy that costs under 3, when he's going on to repeat his career 28, I think we'll cash in. I don't want us to cash in if we don't spend the money. But we might need the money. I don't know the financial structure of the club. I think as a club, if a club came in for him and offered silly money, I'd cash in. I don't think he can replicate his performances next season. His form dropped massively over these few weeks, and I put that down to him being rested at Luton. I'll tell you what, you've put this in, and I've already mentioned everything that you're putting, so you must see the same game as me. Chuba should never, ever have been left out against Luton. He was our top man, on fire, win every accolade, and then rested. And when the camera was panning in against Luton, I was putting my mind in his mind, thinking, he looks pissed off, he's peeved off, he wants to play, get another goal, hit the 30 mark. I would have. If Carrick would have dropped me or Rake or anybody in such form, I'd have knocked the door down and confronted them and said, what are you doing? I've got you in this position, and I want to play every game. I can get injured jumping out of bed in the morning. I want to play. I don't want rested. And he never recovered. He never scored since he got rested. And for me, that was everybody else, I get it. There was injuries. There was a bit of loss of form. But clean sheets. We only kept 1 clean sheet in the last 10 games or something. We only won 2 in 10. I think we scored 15 goals and conceded something like 16 goals. Bad stats. They're stats. That's not an opinion. They're stats. And we were terrific. We were scoring 3, 4 and 5 goals. Hopefully we can keep Carrick, and I'm sure we will be up challenging again next season. But for me, this was such a massive opportunity. Missed, absolutely gutted beyond words. Well, I'll go back and say his name. Andrew, I sympathise with you. I felt the exact same as you and everybody last night. Fans were brilliant. Atmosphere was electric. stay behind the team for the duration of the game. Yeah, massively disappointing. Hello, Bernie, you okay? Still hunting, hope Coventry win it. Got to keep loan players. Sheffield Wednesday come back tonight. Let's see for Mohammed. To extra time. Tonight, Tony Mowbray is staying at Sunderland. Tonight, Tony Mowbray is staying at Sunderland. Yeah, Tony Mowbray, I know we're talking Middlesbrough here, and it's about last night. Tony Mowbray was on national radio the other day saying that Tony Mowbray, there's a new lad coming in to take his place and he'll be leaving. Dear God, that'd be the biggest mistake ever for them. Chris Andrew says, devastated, we will never get a better chance of going up into the Premier like this again. Matt Robbins was a better manager. Tactically in the big occasion, Carrick bottled it with decisions. I want to say bottled it, maybe didn't have a plan B. We didn't. Crooksy come on a wee bit late for me, and the right side wasn't functioning right, and maybe could have threw Jones and Dixie on a wee bit earlier. But after the event, it's easy. We've all got opinions, but in the heat of the moment, it must be really difficult as a coach. Yeah, maybe Crooks could have come on 25, 30 minutes to go and try to change my fortunes. He's always got a goal in him. He's lively going forward. He's fairly tall and he's athletic. But I just don't think we functioned right. As I say, the big lad up front, Gyökeres, holding it up, strong, aggressive. He was back to his best, made the goal. You know, Stefan's come out, got nothing, didn't get the man, didn't get the ball. He's went to his left, which isn't his good foot, and his teammates took it off him, and he's rifled it top left-hand corner with 8 Borough players in the box, 8 Euro players in the box. I still couldn't. When Gyökeres had done that and he went to the left, I thought, well, they ain't going to be. The lad got it. I thought, they're not going to score here. Too many players in the box. But somehow he finished it. No, plan A, never mind plan B. That's for Darryl. Dave Saunders says, gutted Bernie, we lost major players at the wrong time. We lost players in my... For me, when Michael Carrick came in, the first thing he did, and why he was successful in my opinion, and I says it on here if you watch me and you watch throughout the season, when Carrick came in, simplistic things. Rip to 3 centre-halves, to hell with that. Keep the same team, ban injury, a wee tweak there and there. No wholesome changes. When we get injuries, we started messing about with the team. It didn't work. We didn't function right. And when he dropped Tuber, as I say, that for me was one of the biggest sins and one of the biggest things we got wrong. That's probably the only thing that Carrick really did get wrong for me. Hey, look, Tuber might have went in the last 4 games and no scored, but do you know what? I don't think he would have. He was on fire. Every game he went over the line, he looked the part. He looked as if he was going to score. But as I say, playing against 3 centre-backs is difficult. I've been there myself. A lot of teams didn't play it. I think that's a wee sign that you don't... I remember over the last few years, Fry was great. He was great. This one was great. Paddy was great. And I kept saying on here, it should be great. 3 centre-backs against 2 centre-forwards. Or 3 centre-backs against 1 centre-forward. They should be good. And they were good last night. They're against a 5'0" Archer. Chuba strolls about, plays deep. Well, no right upon them. And the service, we had to get behind them, which we very seldom did. So there was reasons why we didn't hurt them. And then we'd have been intent. We could have played to next week and not scored a goal. And 1 goal, was it 1 goal in 4 games we scored against them? Sheffield Wednesday 4-4. Shame we didn't have that fight. Andrew, yeah, people had written Sheffield Wednesday off. Evening, mate. Andrew Eden, hiya, Andrew. Indeed, gutted Mohammed. Pam Turnbull says, Coventry changed their game to overpower ours and it paid off. We've come so far under Carrick. Let's not beat ourselves up too much. It hurt like hell, but the bigger picture is to build on where we are, no matter who stays or goes. I agree with that as well, Pam, but I'll agree to disagree because my fear is there was a guy in the lounge that I actually apologised because I was fuming last night after the game. I was gutted like everybody else. A guy had an opinion and I sort of picked it up wrong and had to go at the kid and I went over and apologised. He was saying, you're being negative because I'm saying, look, Chuba could be sold. Carrick's on the radar of some Premier League clubs because there's a few looking for managers. All the loan players will probably return because we've not got the money. I wouldn't think we've got the money to tempt Giles and Archer and company. Ramsey was never going to come back. I never believed he'd be back. Is he injured? He called into the under-21 squad recently. So anyway, never thought he'd be back. And I just think that they won't be returning because it'll cost money, and I'm not so sure that those clubs will. We put them in a shop window. They've did the business for us, but we've did the business for them to move on because they've been in the shop window. We've given them that platform. They've blossomed. Archer and Ramsey have been terrific. So this guy in the lounge was more or less saying, come on, you're being negative. These guys go back, we might get players similar quality. Yeah, but we might not. And if you look at the loan players we've had over the years, last year we had Barrigan and Conley. No good. One was lightweight, one was overweight. We've had Balassi and Cabano and all these guys. They were good, but they all went. You know, they turn it on and then all of a sudden they've gone. Cabana went back to film or whatever, and Balassi ended up abroad, Turkey, whatever. So there's no guarantees we're going to bring better players, loan players in this year. They might be duffers like we've had in the past. So, look, I don't know. There's only Steve Gibson, the chairman, who I admire. Has been fantastic for many years. He got Carrick. The decision was almost perfect. We've just failed at the last hurdle to get to Wembley. But the football's been good. We've been entertaining, free-flowing, goals. And that's something we've been craving for many years. Some of the boring matches I've watched in the last 10 have been brutal. I said it at the time. Left, right, left, right, left, right. Stefan, left, right, forward. Stefan, all game. Anton de Sledge. Left, right, Stefan, left, right, forward. Look, if a goalkeeper comes out, and don't forget I had a goalkeeper last night, and Demi Konstantopoulos, he kept 9 clean sheets in the bounds. I think it was 20 that season, the year we got promotion. I asked for his opinion. It's a private conversation, so I'm not going to repeat it. But my view it was, Stefan's panicked and he's come rushing out his goal. And when he's rushing out his goal, central of the goal, if you've not seen it, right onto the 18-yard box and just beyond where the D is, he's come out, he has to get the ball or get the man. He has to do something. He done neither. Panic set in. We ended up with 4 or 5 players. He's still struggling about in the no man's land, and the ball whipped by him and by another 7 Borough players. It was a poor goal. But as I say, doesn't he come off his line as far as 18 yards? I don't think he does. And I said all along, he could cost us. He didn't cost us to start with. There was a combination of things. There was a few players to blame, but eventually lands with the keeper. He's rush of blood. Whoa, I'm going to go out there. Giles had recovered. Giles gave the ball away. Hackney slipped, as I mentioned. The ball's been played over the top, but Giles, to be fair, is fairly pacey. He's got back. He's coming round. And big Gyökeres is still 18, 20 yards out. The odds are he's going to get there. Paddy will get back and recover. It's all ifs and buts. But for me, as a keeper rushing out, you have to wipe him out or get the ball. And it was a poor goal. For a few of the lads, it was a poor goal to concede. Adrian Patson said, gutted last night, Bernie, but we move on. Just hope we can hold on to Akpom, build a team around him. Well, I do, Adrian. You know what I mean? Peter saying last night, yeah, cash in. I'm saying, well, who do you get? And will the money be spent? And who's out there to replace Akpom? Some people are saying, well, Akpom might be a one-season wonder. You know, he's 28. He's not done it before. This is his first real season. Let us cash in. I get both sides of the argument. Never mind about that great win for the Mags. Oh, never mind about that. Great win for the Mags. Andy McClan. Away, Andy. I watched the Newcastle game. Newcastle are very good, I have to say. Because Brighton's a good team. Chris Andrews says, felt Carrick should have changed his system earlier. For example, Crooksbron, I mentioned that sooner. And we missed Ramsey and Howson. Ramsey and Howson was Zach Stefan doing. What was Zach Stefan doing for the goal? Comes out too early for the goal. Look, I've been on here. Look, Stefan's probably a great guy. Do I think he'll be here next year? No chance. If he's here next year, I think it's a bad move. I've not been a fan all season. I'm not a goalkeeping expert, but I've beat enough goalkeepers to know a good one. And I don't think he's one of the best. He's not there with Swatzer or Pears or Platt or any of those guys. Nowhere near them. And for me, I say he could cost us, and last night he played a part and cost us. It wasn't totally his fault. Started for Giles, Hackney, ball over the top, Paddy and Linehan caught out with a 1 ball. But I don't think the rush of blood was needed. He needed to stay there and wait to see Gill's covers, which I'm sure he is. If you want, I watched it about 10 times today to see what happened, how it happened, how many players we had in the box. We had 8 to their 4, and they still scored. Dropped Nash Palmer in the season, killed us sadly, Mohammed. I wouldn't say that was the one reason, Mohammed, but that is a big reason for me as a former centre forward who scored goals. Bruce Ray never ever dropped me. There was times I was garbage, but he knew I had a goal in me. But Akpom was playing well and scoring goals. And to rest him at Luton, some people are saying, oh, we need to more or less wrap him cotton wool, we can't afford injuries and nothing games. Well, the next 2 games he played were nothing games. And then he came back for the real thing and didn't get up to speed. It was as if his confidence had been knocked, couldn't believe what had happened to him. And 4 games without a goal. He was on fire. Joe Henry, hiya Joey. Evening Bernie, where were we before Carrick took over? We might have got beat at the night, but it's still a great season. Joey's been out. Look, the football has been sensational. Some of the rubbish I've watched in 10 years, with Walnut, Wilder, Karanka, Pulis, garbage, poor, square back, put the opposition to sleep, put the fans to sleep. Carrick's come in, breath of fresh air, along with Woodgate. They've been brilliant, great to watch, exciting. We lost our way in the last 10 games. When Huddersfield beat us under Warnock, as I say, that was a real blow because Huddersfield were fighting for their lives. We fancied ourselves big time to go and get all 3 points. We get done. Was it 4-2? And then we bounced back. Norwich 5. Credible. Second half. We tore them to shreds. And then Hull City we won. And then again we struggled against Rotherham. Teams that were down there. We sort of lost our momentum, lost our way in the most vital stage of the season. And that can happen. But Coventry, I fancied us against Coventry. Although they played 3 centre-backs, I thought we get behind them, which we should. We've got enough ability and skill, and we've did it all season. A lot of teams don't play 3 at the back, mind. But we found it very, very difficult. Newcastle, Ned, 2 points for the Champions League. Oh, wait, Mohammed, man. We passed the ball back more times than we did forward. Well, that's because they were pressurising us last night. They were closing us down, harassing us. They probably know in their heart of hearts we're a better footballing team, but they could pass it as well and they had a bit of pace. But the big guy up front was their outlet. He played the lone furrow, and it's a very, very difficult game to play. I couldn't play it. There's very few Middlesbrough players over recent years could play it. Negredo played it. Very difficult job. You need to be strong, aggressive, and hold it up back in. And he came to life second half, and that's what really turned it for me, or for them. Dave says, I think Coventry did a job, and us Bernie hacked Akpom down every time we get near. That's the thing as well, David. That's fair play. Dave Chapman saying that they hacked him. They did. They put Chuba to the sword a few times. There was one nasty challenge first half, and Chuba did a bit of a limp for about 15-20 minutes. But that's what teams do, isn't it? I need to get Daniel Ayala back on a free if Steve Gibson is forgiving him. Would do a good job, Mohammed. We don't want any players that's been and gone. We ain't a charity club. Once they go for more money because of more ambition, and we don't have them back because it doesn't work wherever they are. What loans would you have back, Bernie? Pete Robbo. Hey, look, I would. Ramsey, I never thought for a minute to come back. Why would Villa let Ramsey come back to Middlesbrough when we're resting all our players in fear of injury? Well, they don't want Ramsey to get injured. He's valued about 15-20 million, and he's been quality. Surely should have been more than 8 minutes injury time. With all time wasting, the kit was embarrassing. Daniel, do you know what? I watched you. You're saying the kit was embarrassing. It was. He got booked eventually for time wasting. I remember Dimmy, who was my guest last night. I should have mentioned it. Dimmy used to do that under Karanka. Used to lie on the floor, grab the ball, pretend he was injured, slow it down. Gamesmanship. That's what you do. What ones is in back, Benny? I would love Giles. I'd love Giles for definite. Flawed defensively, great going forward. Most creative player, brilliant. I think you pronounced the Coventry guy Jokeresh, whatever. Number 17, we'll keep it right. I'd keep Giles. I'd love to get Ramsey back. Don't believe it's going to happen in a million years. I'd love Archer. Moore, I'd let go. Keeper, I'd let go. Anybody else? Yeah, so Giles and the two forwards would be the main ones that I would want to keep. I'd want to keep Akpom, although I get it at his age and how good he's been and we could cash in. But I don't want as a fan, because I'm not a chief executive or chairman, as a fan, I want to keep Chuba. I want to see him doing it all again next year and banging in even more goals. And Michael Carrick still being there. I was asked a question last night, is Michael Carrick? I don't know the answer to it. I'm always surmising things and giving you my gut feeling and views on Middlesbrough and the game and the loans. There's only Steve Gibson knows exactly what's going to happen. We can only guess. Howson injury cost us. Howson was a big loss last night in the middle of midfield, without a doubt, and we didn't have a replacement to step in for him. Crooks, for me, should have played instead of Moore last night as well. As I say, hindsight, wonderful thing, Paul. Yeah, hi Bernie, hopefully we can do it next season. James Mills, well, let's hope we can. James, let's hope we can. Frank Fotherell says Sheffield Wednesday 4-0 down, now 4-4, extra time. That's an incredible game. Pete Robbo, Ramsey. Yeah, well, I mentioned Ramsey. Ramsey and Archer, I would definitely keep in Giles. They're the three that without a shadow of a doubt I'd keep. But Ramsey, when he went back injured, I says to a couple of lads last week when I was going to walk on the Thursday, that Ramsey, there's no way in this planet he'll be back at Middlesbrough. Once he went back there, I thought, he ain't coming back. Even for at Wembley, he wasn't coming back. As I say, Villa must look and go, we're going to give you him a chance of getting injured. Up the Vale, Bern for James Wilson. Up the Vale, Port Vale, of course. Loved Port Vale, my time there. I think it was a mistake bringing Jones on. His final ball is abysmal. Yeah, as I say, Jones and Dick Steele come on the right to replace Smith and Foz. Foz wasn't in the game. He wasn't in the game. And the left side, McGree wasn't in the game. There was Giles was in it, but it was in the last 20 odd minutes where he's putting too much weight in the balls. They were all flying out the other side. Bernie, we like a Tomlin, Ramirez, creative midfield, a type of player with nothing to break down a resolute Coventry defence. I'm more confident in the recruitment team going forward. Let's see what the summer brings. Well, let's hope so, Ashley. Let's hope so. But you know what? We're talking about players who's come in. Who's the centre forward that's still at the club and we don't even talk about him? He's on loan. Muniz. What's happened to him? So there's a badging because he's never at the game. What's happened to Piero? £5 million. The guys who's recruiting it's all right giving the positives who we recruit. What's happened to him, Piero? £5 million done the River Tees. Money squandered. Nobody even talks about him now. £5 million. Without Howson, we're a one-man team. The understanding with Hackney and his leadership was very much missed. Moat was bang average and couldn't cover the same ground as him for Callum Duff. But Callum, to be fair to Moat, he's not played a lot of football. He's been surplus. It's a tall order to come into the biggest games of the season and just turn it on. I'd love to see Carrick work with Piero. Daniel, surely Piero must return. He's one of the players. We're talking about Piero. £5 million, our player. Loads of money. I think he's still back in Argentina. Get him back. Carrick. We play football. He's surely a Carrick player, but why hasn't he brought him back? One-dimensional for Callum. We missed Howson. We did miss Howson, but let's get this right. Howson ain't going to create and ain't going to score a goal. Let's get that straight. Great professional footballer. Wins the ball, gives it to people that can play. He's like a Robbie Mustoe type player. Not glamorous, not going to score a goal. Just does his job brilliantly well. But last night we needed somebody to unlock the defence through the centre, which is very, very difficult with three. As I say, we had to get it wide and get it in the box. It never happened. Howson wouldn't have changed that side of the game. Good afternoon from Toronto, Bernie. Good afternoon, Mally Handro. So proud of this season's achievement under Michael Carrick. 6-7 players out this summer. I think Michael Carrick will have a firm foundation to work with and bring in some exciting players up the borough. I hope you're right. Look, I don't know. What about young Josh Coburn? Well, his name was mentioned a few times to me last night, Andrew. Look, as far as I know, the lad's done well on his loan stint. I think Carrick, no disrespect to young Josh, I think Carrick will be looking for bigger and better and probably more experienced players than Coburn. That's what I think. And that's no slur on Coburn. Coburn, anytime he's put the Middlesbrough jersey on, local lad, he's did the business, he's looked well and scored a few goals. Poor against Coventry and no plan B to Colin Fryatt. This is piss poor to be fair. Steve Gibson hopefully to speak out soon to Craig. John at Gazette, need to hear from him. Steve Gibson hopefully speak out soon to Craig John. Hey, come to me, forget the Gazette, come to me. There'll be no waffle and no spin for me. Losing Ramsey was a big issue too. Matthew, that was a big loss. But as I say, was it a week ago, 10 days ago, he was named in the England under-21 squad. That to me, more or less said he was fit. And then he never came back, and I thought, no, he's definitely not coming back. Kevin Kelly, hiya Kevin. Hi mate, what has happened to Johnny Howson? Not even been on the bench, missed last night. I don't know the answer to that. Daniel Richards says, would have been a much better final if it was us in the Mackhams and a packed out Wembley, a dull final and a lot of empty seats. So empty seats. Sunderland Middlesbrough would have sold out. I think the sponsors would have loved Sunderland Middlesbrough. There'd have been 95, 6,000, whatever the capacity is at Wembley these days. But it's not to be. I mean, I think the majority of people are listening sometime to national radio, and the guys on there who are not Middlesbrough fans, guys that's played, guys that respect, some of them are good, some of them are not so good. I mean, as pundits, some of them are hopeless, in fact. But they're all giving their opinions about Middlesbrough and Luton and all that, and they're all more or less saying Sunderland Middlesbrough final. Well, they all got it wrong. Which lone player would you love to see back, if you could? Well, I mentioned that earlier, Callum. I'd like to keep Giles, Ramsey, Archer. They're the three defos. I think Boca Juniors have an option to buy Piero. Well, why isn't Carrick giving them a chance? Matt White says Hackney and Smith been in bad form the last 3-4 weeks. So Hackney and Smith. And last night they didn't play well. Loyalty sometimes backfires. I thought the midfield got the runaround last night. The wide men never get into it. Centre midfielders get the runaround. Our defence for the goal were nowhere. And up front we were starved and didn't get in the game. David Foss says, abysmal display, all the fans' efforts to make such an atmosphere at Riverside. Players let the fans down. Didn't do it deliberate, David, of course, you know that. Giles, Jones, Archer, Akpom did nothing. Going to take a few months to get over this, as them players have really peeved me off. Well, I get the frustration. I was frustrated myself last night. You know, I was thinking Wembley, do a wee talk down there with the supporters south. My son, who's a massive Borough fan, I promised him I'd take him to Wembley. Everything was geared for it. Don't get me wrong, I don't count my chicken for the hacks. I've never done that, and I'm too long in the tooth to do that. But so I was absolutely gutted. Hi, Bernie, best chance to get the Premier League. We blew it, so gutted. For me, Peter, it was. I mean, those out there that saying, next year we'll get back on track. Well, one promotion in 13 years. We've been 12 years we've been in this division. And you can't just switch it on and off. What about the teams that's coming down? There's going to be 3 big teams coming down for the Premier. Boatloads of money, parachute payments. They're going to have money to spend, to rebuild, to try and get them back up again. So that's what we're competing next year. And we're competing. There might be a mass exodus. Every player that is on loan might go back. There's talk that Borough v Sunderland final would have been switched to Old Trafford. Well, Mark, who gives a flying? Well, no, none of us are there. It's hypothetical. It's load of old bull. Whenever we play bad, it's always the whole team plays bad, not just 1 or 2 players. Tony Smith. Yeah, I don't like just singling out players, but as I say, the whole team that. I don't know if Sky gave a man of the match, but if a man of the match, it would be one of their players. There was no man of the match for Middlesbrough last night. Nobody came out. Yeah, nobody came out with stars thinking he played well last night. We were all over the shop, defensively flawed, going forward flawed, wide position flawed, created very little. The only chance we had first half was ball came in for the right, Lenihan, tame, keeper, simple. That was it. I think we hit the bar for a free kick. Crooks with the ball in the net. It was offside. There was 2 offside. So, nah, disappointing. Dave Fuss says, Archer crap, Crooks 88 minutes. What's he going to do for that amount of time? That's what I'm saying, David. I mean, hey, look, I'm not having a go at, I thought maybe in hindsight he could have come on a bit earlier. Maybe 20, 25 minutes. Always likely to get you a goal, Crooksy. He's done it in the past. He's a nuisance. He's a fit lad. Yeah, he didn't get long, and he did come on as he had the ball in the net, but unfortunately was offside. But yeah, both Borough and Sunderland blew it. We did, Stephen. I mean, I watched the Sunderland game and I says men against boys. They were bullied out the game. Luton knew they were better technical players. They were younger players, and they bullied them the whole game. Clattered this year and that year, and never let them lift their heads or play or get a shot. I think Luton could have won 5 or 6. I know. I've seen it. I think Sunderland cleared 3 off the line. And then last night, it wasn't so much men against boys, but it was a well-drilled, organised defence as a unit, not just as a back 5, as a unit that just smothered us. They smothered us, didn't let us play our usual free-flowing football, didn't allow that. And that was it. There was no return. Robert Burrafan McClucky says, massively missed Ramsey and Howson. Also them couple of games when we were guaranteed a place waiting about. That was how you manage it. Going to be tough with the big guns coming down next season. Well, I've mentioned that. That's what people forget. We cannot just keep saying at the end of every season, oh, next season we'll go again and we're going to do it next season. Next season we could be mid-table. It's not being negative, it's being realist. Being realistic. I'm a realist, not a fantasist. I'm a Borough fan. We've been brilliant this season. I've enjoyed the football under Curry. It's been refreshing, revitalising, exciting. Goals galore. I mean, second top scorer in the division to Burnley. That's some accolade for Curry. That's how good he's been as a coach. Go out and express yourself, create things, score goals. It just so happens the goal, we conceded more goals in the last 10 games than we scored. We conceded 16 and only scored 15. Clean sheets were very few and, well, there wasn't many clean sheets. One recently in the last 10 games. So, and that's the only game we hadn't scored at Riverside. That was the stat that was coming out last night. So only game, the biggest game of their lives last night to get to Wembley. It's the first game we've not scored at Riverside since Carrick arrived. You couldn't make it up. Archer should have been replaced by Crooks at half time. Smith was poor and Dixdale played much better and needs to be a right back next season. Dixdale, come on. Dixdale, what he's got a bit of pace. I know a bit about him. He's a bit more skillful going forward. If you look back at the game, this is for Pete. Giles played the ball central behind Hackney. They broke and scored. That will haunt him forever. If you look back at Giles, played the ball central behind Hackney. Yeah, I mentioned this. You might have just joined us as I'd already mentioned it. I mentioned it at the top. Pete gets the ball, Giles. He plays it's just behind Hackney. Hackney's off balance, goes onto his back. He's filling the ground. He's at the game. The ball gets pumped to the top of Lenihan and McNair. But Giles, to be fair, has recovered and he's back there. And he's going to try and come square in from the left-hand side to block the big number 17. And what happens then? The keeper takes a Maddie, comes running out. He has to clatter the keeper. Sorry, Catty. All right. Fright my cat there. He has to clatter the keeper or get the ball. And he did neither. He came out like this. Caught air. Out the game. 8 Borough players in the box. 4 of their players and they scored. It was Gadby's goal to concede in such a high-profile game. 1 ball beating the back line. And the keeper just rushing at his goal. What a madman. Nah. I'm not having it. The central defender who went down with cramp was outstanding. The 36-year-old, can't remember his name. I know who you're talking about, Chris. Look, again, central defenders getting the plaudits for playing 3 centre-backs against a 5'0" Archer and a Chuba Akpom who's roaming about everywhere. They should be good. I've said that for years. We're centre-backs when they get the praise and the credit when they play 3. They should be good. Annette Nelly Hughes says we get slaughtered week in, week out if we go to the Premier League and played like we did last night. On we go up the effing Borough. David Foss says Ramsey's going to under-20s England. That's his 21s, 20s then. So clearly he wasn't injured. Yeah. So why not even on the bench? Well, David, I don't know the answer, but I can only presume that Villa's went, do you know what? We ain't sending them back. You're resting all your players so they don't get injured for the big games. Well, this guy's our property and we're going to punt him. He's not good enough for our team, but he's been good at Middlesbrough when you've given him the platform, and we're going to get shot at him. We're going to make a few quid. We can't gamble getting injured. Would you loan him if you were one of the top guys at Villa? I don't think you would. David Rimmer says, Bernie, it's so ifs and buts now. Just let's move on. Get behind our team next season. But we always do. We do. Fans do that. That's what happens. We have a moment of madness now. Say, vent my spleen, have a go, give praise, and then we start again all next season. We start with 0 points, and the one with the most in May goes up simple up the borough. Silly comment, no, as we'd sign loads of players. Silly comment, no, as we'd sign loads of players. I don't know what that means. Matthew, tell us what you mean by that. Silly comment, though, as we'd sign loads of players. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know if you're talking to me or talking to somebody else. David First says, 8th next season. Too many good teams getting relegated from Premiership. Best chance last night and bottled it. I wouldn't say we bottled it. I just don't think we functioned properly. And as I say, we had no answer to the 3 centre-backs. We've scored one goal in 4 games against Coventry. 1 goal in 4 games. And we're a team who have been flying under Carrick. Exciting, free-flowing football. Creating chances at will. Scored 5 against Norwich. 4 in the second half, we blew them away. It was embarrassing. And then in the most vital games, when it really mattered, we didn't click. It's infuriating. That's sport, I get it, but it's infuriating. Even Benny, what do you think they'll do with Pero? When or if he comes back? Well, Martin, if he's our player, he should be back. Carrick should get him back, and with Carrick being a forward-thinking, attacking-minded coach, Pero would be ideal for him. I don't doubt Pero's loaded with skill and ability. We couldn't see it with other managers because they were negative managers. I don't believe, was it Walnut or Wilder? I think it was what? I don't believe he signed him. Never played him, and he was too skillful for a Walnut or a Wilder. So, get him back. He's our player, I'm sure. We paid £5 million. Bernie, you reckon we should try and sign Danny Ayala? Mohammed, no. I'm not a fan of getting players back. No. Last year it was get Ben Gibson back. No. They've went away. Pastures new. Ambition, money, whatever. We ain't a charity club. There's loads of centre-backs out there. We've got the scouts around Europe. Go and get fresh talent. Fresh talent. Very poor last night. Back pass early on, set the tone. Yeah, there was Dean Wilson. You're right. There was one with Smith, wasn't it, the first half. And Stefan actually did well. He came out and had to clear the danger. I thought, to be honest, we have had a good season. In the end, 21st, the playoffs. I would think about letting Chuba go if a big bid comes in. Archer was lost last night. Our 2 massive losses were Ramsey and Howson. But how was Archer going to function last night against 3 centre-backs up there in the zone? There's no hope in hell's chance. He scored a goal, admittedly, against Coventry in the first game when the other week, just before half-time. I think we overran it 45 minutes before half-time. We went to about 48, 49. And he scored a great goal, put it on top of the net. That was his only contribution in that game, which is important to score a goal, but never in it. And it was always going to be tough. Coventry fan here. Borough are a great side. This is for Finn. Coventry fan here. Borough are a great side and great fans, but our defence is solid. Lost only 1 in 19 games. 1 in 19. And we are the masters of counter attack with the big number 17. I'm not going to pronounce it. And Hamer, who scored the goal, by the way. Good luck in the future. Thank you very much for that, Finn. Look, credit where it's due. I think Matt Robbins has been unbelievably great for Coventry City. Coventry have had their problems on and off the pitch. And what they've did is miraculous. And to beat Wembley, and I hope I'll be honest, I hope now that Coventry beat Luton. Luton are just a team of hammer throwers, like Wimbledon of old. Long ball, punt, squeeze, kick anything that moves. I think Coventry are going to play a bit better than them. A better football team. We pass the ball back too much, Bernie. That's because that's to their credit because they were closing us down. They knew and know that if we get our heads up and they allow us to play at our leisure and our tempo, we could punish them. But they weren't going to have that. Des O'Leary says, greeting from Waterford, Ireland, Bernie Hire. Des, excuse me, gutted after last night. Borough will be back better and stronger next season. Keep the faith. I hope you're right. As I say, nobody knows. We can all sit here. I can say it's going to be an exodus. We're going to lose every Tom, Dick and Harry. And we don't know who's going. We don't know who's coming in. So none of us, we're all guessing. We're all playing a game. None of us know. Tony says, I have to go all out for the title next season. No excuses. Well, I thought that we were going this year for the... Well, since Carrick came in, the turnaround and the performances was amazing. And what we achieved, I mean, a lot of people are saying that you'd have bitten the right hand off to get to where we got to. But when you're so close, it's even more difficult. The only blessing that I can honestly say, in a perverse way, we're not getting there. We're better to get beat last night than to get beat at Wembley. It saves the expenditure of the fans. Fans find it hard in Teesside. A lot of fans find it hard. But the big sale of Borough to follow their team, Middlesbrough, they're passionate. They turn up in their droves. They're great travellers. They've all been there. And to get beat, I'm not saying we would have got beat. But getting beaten, then they're all in debt. If you're going to get beat, you might as well get beat now. Forget go to Wembley. Last time I was there was Norwich. My backside had hardly touched the seat and it was a goal. Stefan is a sweeper on the team. Tony Smith, sweeper. Well, he sure swept the big man out of the game. Dean Wilson, no, can't blame the keeper for the goal. Defenders were struggling to make it. And to be fair, the lads still had loads to do and finish was class. You can't blame the keeper. I blame Giles for a bad ball. I blame Hackney for off balance and falling over. I blame Paddy McNair and Lenihan for letting the ball go over their heads. And I blame Stefan, the last guy in line, for rush of blood coming away off his line when there was no need to. He gambled and he has to get something. He has to get the ball of the man. And he get neither. And that's how it ended up in the back of the net. He's out the box. Watch it. He's in the D as you come out the box, 18-yard box. So if he wakes the guy out the free kick, or gets a punch at something, but you get nothing. So there's a host of players to blame, but the last in line is the goalkeeper. Just like a centre forward, if he misses a sitter, you'll say centre forward. There's a few guys make it, and then it comes to the forward, he misses it, he gets the blame for missing it. Peterborough just scored 4-1, 4-5 in the aggregate. Wow. Stephen Roberts said it's been a great season. If we keep Carrick, I'm sure he will attract the same players, if not better, because you now know what style of players we attract. We simply ran out of energy at the sharp end of the season. Regardless, it's been a fantastic season and I've no moans. There's that. Stephen Robertson giving his opinion about the Borough. He's disappointed, but hey, he's had a fantastic season. And if you're a Borough fan and you've not enjoyed it, then I don't know what turns you on, because over the last 10 years it's been negative, boring, squared back. Guys like Adam Clayton scored one goal in about 300 games. It was a deflection and square balls galore. This has been exciting. Well, young Hackney's 10 minutes. Young Hackney's, he's really emerged this season. It'll be difficult, more difficult next season because people know his style now and what he's about. Chuba has been amazing. Giles has been incredible with the amount of goals he's made and creativity. And Archer and Ramsey, they certainly made a mark here in Teesside, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's one of the downsides about loans. I say every season, and this is why I think that we never quite make it. We build foundations in sand, meaning we bring in loan players who are not our property, and at the end of the season, the parent club will say, right, come back, you come, we'll sell you elsewhere. You know, we're not in control. We're in control for that period because they sign a contract for the duration of the season, but once that season's up, you can say, see, we've seen it in the past, but last year was a big hit here. He's a very good footballer. I mentioned Cabano, good footballer. But as soon as the season ends, they're off. And that's one of the downsides. And I always say, building in sand, if we get the same players, when I played the same amount of players because we had no money, played every game, week in, week out. There was 780s played every game in the first 4 years. Check it out. For that 86 team. And it was only because we had no money and no players. And sometimes that's a good thing. This chopping and changing. And that's how, I think that's how we became unstuck. Couple of injuries, given a couple of rest, already made it in the playoffs, didn't know quite how to deal with it. And I think it all caught up with us. When we were playing well, scoring goals for fun, same team every week in the main, everything was hunky-dory. And that's how we were successful in my opinion. But once the injuries crept in and changing things and resting Akpom, I think that played a part. Hi Bernie, just want to give the loan players we've had a shout out. I can't remember any other season. I can't remember any other season as many who have done as well as these have done. What do you think? I totally agree, Gary Motson. I totally agree. Gutted about yesterday, but overall we've had a brilliant run since Carrick has taken charge. Well done to all the lads, yeah. Look, the lads deserve praise. Michael Carrick deserves praise. Steve Gibson deserves praise. Last night, weren't good enough. Didn't have a plan B. Didn't hurt them any way, shape or form. Majorly disappointed, gutted. As I say, I had the Borough hangover. Don't drink. I got up this morning. I could hardly get out of bed. I was thinking, dear God. Sky Blue's the only other team to win at the Borough. But as I say, to score every game at Riverside under Carrick, except last night. Tony Smith says, notice how Coventry kept their striker high upfield. We never have done that for years. Went off the boil, once got playoff place, lost all the momentum. We lost the momentum because we were resting players that we didn't have to rest. Akpom was the biggest player of all, and nobody will ever change my mind. Akpom should have never been rested. Never. 28 goals, 28 in the league, 29 in total. Rested at Luton, never recovered. 4 games after it, we're out, and he never scored a goal. And he had 1 good game out of 4. And he was banging form. He was doing the business every game. And I say, I don't get that. I'd like to ask Michael Carrick why he did it. You can't say it's because he might get injured, because he played the next 2 games after the Luton game. And some people are saying, oh, we'll get Luton, we don't want to show them our hand. Well, we never got Luton, did we? I don't rate Stefan at all, Pete. Oh, I don't. He won't be here next year. I'll let you with a donkey. If he's here next year, he won't be here next year. Get Jason Steele in, Craig Dales. Dear God, we don't want the same players back. Jason Steele was it 4 in the night against Newcastle? Jason Steele's number 1 there, isn't he, Brian? Liam Roberts will be number 1 next season. Roberts is a lad who's not had a sniff this season. He only got in when Stefan declared himself injured, or was injured. And then when Stefan declared himself fit, he was back in the team. People said it might have been his contract. It might have been, I don't know. What about the lad Saul Bryn? Local Borough lad. Good height, physique for a goalkeeper. Is he at Swindon? Doing very well, getting rave reports. Akpom took a knock to his knee early on to not want to stay down. No, he did. But as I say, the 3 centre-backs, I've been there. I used to look up the park, and there was only a couple of teams in the leagues when I played. I'd look up and go, playing 3 centre-backs today. No matter who I was playing with, whether it was Baird or Wilco or Archie, I'd think, it's going to be difficult today. More difficult than usual. We had to rely on Ripley or Comfort or Henry or whoever to get the balls in. And it's difficult. I think we missed Fry, Ramsey and Howson. Well, Fry's a centre-back, so he would... Don't forget, I'm talking attacking-wise. Fry would not create a goal or score a goal. Ramsey, without a doubt. Howson would not create a score. It was going forward, what we've been great at. That was what we were missing. And Fry, by the way, Paddy again had another good game last night. He only get taken off in the dying embers to put, was it Cruikshank on to try and get a goal, but he went missing for the goal along with Lenihan and everybody else. But are we all forgetting the save Stefan made? No, we mentioned it at the start of the game. Yeah, it was Smith bad back pass, wasn't it? Let's not forget Stefan's distribution is up. Forget Stefan's distribution is up. Well, he'll be off. He won't be here next season. Dave Ditchburn says, great season, really enjoyed it. Best football in years. We move on up the effing borough. Dave, I don't think anybody that argues with that's not got a clue about football. We've been great in the eye, entertaining, exciting, goals galore, scored 3, 4s and 5s. It just sticks in the throat that in the most crucial stage of the season, we didn't deliver. We didn't fire on all cylinders. And I think that's where the annoyance comes. As I say, I've been there. I've been relegated the last day of the season. I got relegated against Sheffield Wednesday. I've gained promotion at Wolves last day of the season. Fantastic. I've played in playoff finals against Bradford and Chelsea and got promotion. I've got knocked out with the Borough against Notts County. Notts County beating us. But the manager says, I mentioned it a few weeks ago, Colin Todd had says 7/80s were going to go. It wasn't ideal preparation, but so I've been there and I know what the players went through last night and after the game and how they feel. It's horrible. Horrible. Both teams fell short on the games that mattered. Both teams fell short on the games that mattered. But Sunderland and Borough, you mean? Colin Fry said, if we are going for a new keeper, Cal Dallo looked quality while on loan at Hull. Don't know enough about him, Colin, so I can't really get involved. I'll bow to your superior knowledge. Let's not forget the save Stefan made at the beginning of the first half from the bad back pass. That's for Stephen Robson. Have I read this? What happened to Jones? Do you think we'll loan him out as he's clearly lost his confidence? I think if somebody comes in and wants to buy Jones, I think Jones will be off as well. I mean, Jones has had a turbulent season. When he first came in, breath of fresh air, direct, skillful, fast, creative, scored an odd goal. Fans sang his name at every game. And then this year he's been booed and put on his case. And then over the last few weeks he's come back in the scene and the fans will get back on his side. And he did okay. But yeah, we had nothing on the night. We didn't, Matt. You know, anybody that says we functioned and we were unlucky last night, we weren't. We were beaten by a smarter, better, well-drilled outfit, and we didn't have the answers to break them down. And part of that is, to go through the 3 centre-backs, we need some real skillful, technical operator in the middle of midfield. We didn't have that. We had Morton Hackney. We need a Janino-type player to go there and unlock defence splitting passes. We didn't have that type of player. Akpom could go to Watford, the replacement for Ivan Toney, if we get a Fnon. We take 15 million for him. Jones needs to go, one season wonder. So Gareth saying, yeah. We don't need to look for a keeper. We've got Robertson Bryn. Yeah, Robertson Bryn. I've mentioned that. Bryn. Why not give this kid a chance? Local lad. Great height, great physique. Been on loan. I think it was Queenie South last year. Get player of the season. He's been at, I'm sure it's Swindon. He's got rave reviews. So get him back. Let's see what he's got. Bernie, who do you want to win Coventry? Look, do you know what? I don't give a flying, Mohammed. If I had to pick a team, it would be Coventry, but I won't be watching it, put it that way. And that's not being disrespectful to either team, I just, no interest. What will be the priorities of the club now during the break, and will Steve Gibson commit more pounds for players, including the possibility of securing on-loan players? Pam, I honestly don't know. I always say I don't know the financial structure. Only Steve Gibson knows exactly what's in the coffers and what he can afford, and him and the chief exec Bowser and Carrick the coach will be in it. The director of football, of course, will be in it heavily. So I don't know. I just hope whoever we get in on loan, obviously the loans is so we don't spend money. You know, loan players this year or this season proved that they were very good, but we've had some crap ones over the years. Wilson covers keeper is a tool, or Coventry's keeper. Wilson covers keeper. I went to school with him. He's a Liverpool fan. Come on, Anth. It's I was getting infuriated with him because he was wasting time, but we've done it over the years. Rewind your brain. Dimmy done it. I remember Dimmy doing this with socks and taking his time, and it was all part of the game. I'd have a go at getting Alec, bad with names, Chuazabi for a defence, absolute rock at this level. Sorry about the pronunciations, Lee. I'm not good at the pronunciation. We don't need Stefan. We've still got Lumley in the books, for God's sake. Nick Moore. Is it Roger Moore you're talking to here? Nick, get your head a shake, man. Lumley. Don't rule him out. What's happening to that Clark who we signed? Don't know. Dennis, don't know. Simple as that. Get with it, Lumley out of contract. Phil, are we having a laugh here or what? Lumley. I says Lumley would cost us, and he did as well. We didn't get where we wanted to be. He wasn't good. I think it was very good second half of the season when Carrick took over. The team was struggling. They can now buy a few players and compete for automatic promotion next season. Well, let's hope. As I say, Stephen, none of us can sit here and predict what's going to happen next season. We don't know what money's available. We don't know who's going. We don't know who's coming in. There's loads of things. So we're all guessing. It's more for the heart than the mind. Some of us might be kidding ourselves on. Giles was absolutely knackered. 70 minutes onwards, should have been subbed. To be fair, he does do a lot of running box to box, doesn't he? Matthew King says, Coleman back next season? Question mark. He could be back, but I think that Carrick will be setting out, no disrespect to Josh. I think he'll be looking for bigger and better strikers. Maybe even more mature. Watch game in Sky, the commentary, so anti-Borough, it was shocking. Both the games, this is for Gary Motson. Sunderland games too. They hate us up here in the north. They don't like us Northerners. Bryn player of the season at Swindon had a really good season. Yeah, so I says he's had a good season. Rave reviews. Dean said he was player of the season. You reckon we will go up next season, Mohammed? We're all guessing, fantasising. Until we know what players are going, what players we've got in, what money the chairman's going to have available for Carrick. Is Carrick still going to be here? Is any of the loan players going to remain? Is Chuba going to be here? We don't know anything. It's all pie in the sky. Sheffield Wednesday 5-5. Dear me. Sheffield Wednesday 5-1, 5-5 in aggregate. Dear, dear. Evening, Bernie. What do you think the chances of Carrick and the lone players staying are? Well, I think Carrick's probably... There's more chance of him staying than the lone players. I don't think any lone players will be here. Why would the respective clubs who's put them in their shop window and they've did the business, why would they not cash in? I'd like to see Carrick call on a few favours at Man United. I would love that lad who has been on loan at Sunderland, Diallo, to come here next season. Yeah, talk about Diallo. He'd be ideal, wouldn't he? Saying that, he never got kicked the other night. Scored a wonder goal the first leg. Missy Maz, hi Missy Maz. Stefan did cost us the one goal, but we also had the rest of the time to score goals ourselves. I feel sad today. This football really gets to you. Next season, I'll say hi to you in the Legends Lounge. Missy Maz, if you're in the Legends Lounge, why did you not say hello last night? I was in there last night. Hopefully I'll be. Robertson goal next season. Well, again, we're guessing. Peterborough, let it slip away again. 5-5 going to penalty. Wow. Do you think there'll be any surprises this summer? Ali Smith. I'm not really looking for surprises. I've not got a clue. I don't know if there'll be surprises or there'll be, you know, if Carrick was to go, that would be the absolute. Well, I'd be shocked. You know, we've given him he cut his teeth in management or coaching stroke management. He's did a brilliant job. He's put us back up there, back in the radar. As good football team, attractive football team. People want to watch us. Footballers want to come to us. And to lose him would be an absolute disaster. The players have obviously responded to Carrick's style and brand, no more than Chuba. So, yeah. Jason Bain says, hi Bernie, please give a shout out for my wife Kerry. She loves you. We go again next. Let's hope we keep all our team for next year. If we keep the same team, dear God, that would mean business. If we kept every loan player and everything, I don't believe for a minute that'll happen, but if we did in a fantasy world, that would be the biggest boost ever. And hiya Kerry, Jason's wife Kerry, big Borough fan. Can't believe how many players went down with cramp. It never happened in your time, Bernie. We used to take salt tablets, Tony. When the warm weather come in the summer nights, salt tablets. I don't think they like you taking salt. Just get a wee white tablet, salt tablet. None of us get cramp. we were all mongrel dogs back then. They're all pedigrees now. Pedigree's a wee bit harder to try and keep fit. The old mongrel just gets on with it. Michael Gallagher says, we played Coventry 4 times, drew twice, lost to them. It was always going to be extremely close, and one goal decided it. I think Akpom and Archers missed chances at their ground. Last week was very costly. We looked at tired side. But Michael, we've been scoring goals for fun. And saying playing them 4 times, well, we only scored once in 4. That's not a good ratio for a team that's scoring 3 4s and 5s, yeah. But we've been banging in goals left, right and centre, second top scorers in the division. You know, so to score 1 goal in 4 games is a poor return for a side that score goals. Nobody saw Coventry and Luton playoffs start the season. Nobody did. Definitely not. The ref was rubbish. Carrick didn't come to Borough. Sat 3rd bottom to keep them up and leave. He's here for the next 2 years now. Again, Phil, I wouldn't buy into that. Believe nobody in football and nothing in football. Nothing set in stone in football. Look at Mugger, Tony Mowbray. The remit was mid-table. They finished in the top 6. They had a chance of going to Wembley, and then all the talk and speculation was they're getting rid of Mugger. Nothing surprises you in football. How do you think the team is going to look in the new season, Bernie? As I say, Nathan, you might have just joined us, Nathan Walton. I don't know. I'm the same as everybody else, every other Borough fan out there. It's totally the chairman, the chief exec, Carrick, and the director of football as to who we get and what quality we get in, what money's available. We can all sit here with blue in the face guessing and playing fantasy football, but we don't know. So we don't know if we're going to be better or worse until the start of the season comes in August, and we can look and see, oh, well, he's come in, he's a good player, and yeah, I know him. And then we can start guessing, but at the minute, it's pie in the sky. I can't see Southampton and Leeds being a threat next season. Well, when they've got money and they've dropped out the top flight, it's a big boost. You know, we don't get any money for staying down and no making it. They get money for coming down. As I say, it pays to be a failure in football. It's the only industry. It pays to be a failure. The more you fail, the more money you get. The team that want rid of you get money, give you money to get out, and the team you're going to give you money to get you in. And then it happens again and again. It's just a vicious circle, unless you're in it. Michael Carrick will get us promoted next season with his own players, especially using his links to Man United, Tottenham. He has done amazing where he picked off and unfinished business regardless of who comes down from the Premier. We will do better next season. Sean Cooper, I hope you're right, but as I say, there's no guarantees. You don't know who's going to be here, who's not going to be here. Michael Carrick, let's hope he does use his influence at Manchester United. You've got Tottenham as well there. Let's hope he does. That'd be fantastic. But you don't know what other clubs are in for the guys we're looking at. And a lot is down to director of football. He's the biggest guy who attracts them. We drew with Stoke 0-0, Bernie. I think Coventry did a job in us. Rolf Carter. Colin said, if Luton fail to go up, we should look to sign Lockyer, Luke's quality. See you next season, Bernard, the best up the bottom. Matthew King, he's off in a flash, he's come on and off. Yeah, I'm going to be, this is the last broadcast tonight for the season. I'll do a Total BS podcast definitely Monday, just reviewing the season, talking about everything in depth. We can sit here all day blaming the ref, the keeper, etc. Facts are, we just didn't play to a full potential last night defensively. Coventry were excellent. It's just football at the end of the day. Matty Robson. Matty, that's a fair assessment. Kev Neal says, hopefully we sign Rudy Juststead for next season, Bernie, and really push for promotion. Kev, man, you have to go and see somebody, get that name out of your head. You need to take tranquilizers. And Trevor says, Sunderland will get promoted next year. Investment promised by Kidd. And speculation again. It's fantasy. Not one team can say they're going to go up next season at this minute, today, tonight. Because you don't know who's here and who's not here. And Neil O'Donnell says, hi Bernie, gutted about yesterday. Got up at 3 AM in Perth, Oz. We didn't do enough in the final note. I was surprised how low on confidence Jones was when he came on up the Borough. Well, the team, other games Jones has come on along with Dick Steele, and they've really flourished. And a lot of the games have come off the bench. The team's been in the zone and in form, but they came into a team that was struggling last night and couldn't change it. Penalties at Sheffield Wednesday. We need midfield general for Lisa. Nathan Morton says, let's be fair, everyone is slating Borough, but look at where we came, 21st in the league to 4th. I would rather be in the Championship, win games, than going to the Premier and losing against big teams. We'll come back next season. That's for Ethan Baker. I've heard that one before. Some of my mates say that. Some of my mates are ardent Borough fans, travel the country, spend a fortune, take their kids up and down the country every game, no matter what competition, friendly games, pre-season games. Look, just last night was it was like a bad dream last night. That's the only way I could sum up. Do you think we will look to get some money in for Jones when the window opens? Look, I wouldn't be surprised if Jones goes, Akpom goes, the loan players go. That's me talking. I might be wrong with every one of them, but I don't think if we have a chance to get rid of a lot of them, I think they'll go, without a doubt. Look where Coventry came from too. Coventry's where they've came from is amazing. Tried his hardest, Archer. Look, Archer was always on a loser against 3 6 foot odd, 6'2", 6'3" centre forwards. Akpom in the main, he tried to push a wee bit more forward last night. I thought he would, and he did, but to no avail. Couldn't break them down. The guys behind them, Morton Hackney, didn't create much for them. The balls that went wide, there was only Giles. I mentioned those at the top. Giles got balls in the box. Then he was overhitting them. McGree wasn't in it. Foz wasn't in it. Jones come off the bench, wasn't in it. So, no. We didn't do enough. Last night, well, we got what we deserved on the night. We weren't good enough. They were the better team. Sometimes you need to hold your hands up and admit it. Chuba only has another year left in his contract. We will get nowhere near 20 million from him. Chuba could play the game and just sit in the contract and walk away a free transfer in the summer. Look at, who do you call him? Yeah, man, can't even remember his name. He was that good. Mizimar says, do you think Giles seemed a little nervous to try and run past Esbrand? He didn't look confident taking him on. He kept passing the ball to Hackney McGree. Yeah, that lad was quick. The full-back was quick. He was quick, if not quicker than Giles. Maybe he was. A sombre longer. He's the man. The Brighton Cup game was the change in our playing style and the yardstick with which Carrick identified and is still trying to get across to the players. You know, in football, you only replace a player with a better player. Otherwise, it's pointless to replace them. Harry Kane is the same situation with contract. All the best, Bernie. See you next season, Ethan Baker. Yeah, and I just want to say, I'll read a few more out and that's it. I was meant to read these. I'll read them on my podcast on Monday. I'd just like to thank, obviously, each and every one of you for joining us over the last few years. Building up nicely. It's good to have a platform where nobody vets you and nobody can stop you. And I'm not in anybody's pockets, which I've never been anyway. I really enjoy it. I love talking about my club, Middlesbrough. I've been in Teesside since 85, 86. Been loyal, successful as a player and as a teams I played with. And I love it. My boys are English, my boys are Borough lads. They love the Borough. And it's brilliant doing this. And I have to thank the sponsors. I'll read them out now. The majority are with us next season. There's new ones on board. And it'll be bigger and better next season. All the best, Bernie. Enjoy your summer. See you next season for Matty. Cheers, Matty. So I want to say thanks again to Galaxy Blinds, Cornerstone, Cleveland System Engineering, Borough Ship Museum, Advanced Utility Solutions, RWTA and TGM Cars for the backing over the years. And as I say, the majority are back on board next year, along with a few new ones. And really looking forward to it. As I say, we'll be getting better technology, better setup, better signs. You won't be seeing Bowie and Morrissey on YouTube. You'll be seeing what you see here. And I'll keep doing the Total BS podcast, of course, and do fresh interviews. Where am I going to hear? I'll read a few more now, so I've overshot the runway. We passed back when we didn't need to. not just because they pressured us. It's what we do. No, but Tony, sometimes you need to take, if they've got a bit in the game and they're at it, and then you just keep possession of the ball, and then you try and look for an opening. But the openings weren't there. We could have played to next Wednesday and not scored a goal. It was one of those games we didn't look like scoring. Fair play, the Borough boys, they've done well. Teesside fans should be proud. Look, the fans have done brilliant all season. The players have been brilliant the majority of the season. Let us all down. Didn't let us down, but played a team that were better than us, well drilled. Carrick's been unbelievably good. Woodgate coming in's been a great foil. So well done to each and every one of them. It's been a season to enjoy. It's the first season I've enjoyed for about 11 years. Or a good 10 years. Some of the football and dross I've watched with squaring back, boring, putting the opposition to sleep, putting the crowd to sleep, and pinching a goal and winning and thinking we're the best team. This is what I call football. And Carrick's got us playing exciting, entertaining, free-flowing, flamboyant, colourful football. The wheels come off in the most crucial stage of the season, which can happen. Some of it was due to injuries. As I say, the Akpom thing, nobody convinced me that he should have been rested or dropped or whatever it was. But it's been a good season, an entertaining season, and it nearly went to the wire. One game off Wembley. So I'll read 3 more out and that's me, finito. Why couldn't we get through them last week? Why couldn't we get through them last week? Alim Dita. Why couldn't we get through them last week? Well, we did. We got through them last week. Akpom, there was one of the best moves ever, was the first leg of the Coventry game. There was about 4 or 5 Borough players movement into Akpom. Chuba's hit it. The keeper's flicked off him. It's hit the stanchion, the crossbar and the post. That would have been a fantastic goal. Jones had a shot from an acute angle, keeper saved. That was really the contribution. But as I say, hey, it's gone now. So we'll be minimum 2 next week. Sheffield Wednesday came back from 4-0 down and just won in penalties. Laugh out loud. Can you believe it? Colin Fright's just told us the news. Sheffield Wednesday, dead and buried. Everybody had written them off. Came back for the dead and they're through. When we conceded, I looked at the bench and I could see how Dale Fry felt compared to the rest of them. Dale Fry's lot. See, the other thing, do the lone players hurt as much as the local lads? Do the lone players hurt as much as the other guys on long-term contracts? I don't think they do. Why? Because they know that the odds are they won't be here next year no matter what division we're in. Even in the Premier League, they still might not have been here. So I don't think it hurts them as much as it hurts the lads who's on contracts or local lads like Dale Fry. Dale Fry was absolutely gutted last night. Borough lad. Anyway, thanks very much for joining us. Apologies if I've not read these. I say I'll be doing one more Total BS podcast, definitely Monday. I said I was going to do one at night, but I was so peeved off last night. And I was going to say 7 at night, but I was so peeved off, I needed time to get my head round. Yeah, everything that went on yesterday. So thanks very much for joining the Facebooks and YouTube Lives. All be happening again next season. Thanks for Total BS Podcast. You can listen to interviews past, present. On Apple, Spotify, numerous platforms for free. So have a great summer. Keep the pickers up. Say our prayers that we're going to, if you're religious anyway, say your prayers that we're going to get the right players in. Keep some of the ones we want to keep. Cheers, Benny. You could listen to you talk Borough all night. Thanks, Tony Foster. Yeah, let's hope in the summer we get the players we want, require. Carrick's still here and we're ready to go and go for the jugular from the off. Thank you very much. Good night. Have a great summer. Enjoy your holidays if you're fortunate enough to get away. And keep up your daily exercise. Good for the mind, the body and the soul. Urge people to do that via my social network. I always say, get in your daily exercise. I mean that. Some people aren't fit enough. I sympathise with that. But if you're fit enough or you're putting on a few more pounds or you become the couch potato, get up off your ass and get out and breathe in the fresh air. The summer's here. Late nights are here. Buy a dog. Stuffed dog. Pull it along. Kid on your walking the dog if you're on your own. Or go out with your mates and breathe in the fresh air. And think Borough and think about next season. And yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Up the Borough. Thank you very much. Cheers.